Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. So F1 25 just got a new update. The biggest thing right away is that the 2026 Atlassian Williams F1 Team car has been updated. That is the kind of change that some players might skim past, but for anyone who cares about the current grid and wants the game to reflect the real season as closely as possible, that matters. It is one of those details that helps the whole game feel more in sync with the real world. And alongside that, there was a fix for a weird issue where Hotlap ERS mode could show up when it was not supposed to in some wet race sessions. That is a good one to clean up because anything that messes with ERS in the wet can throw off the rhythm of a race pretty fast. Then there are the track changes, and these are the kind of fixes that are easy to miss unless you are paying attention lap after lap. The dynamic racing line in braking zones was updated at several tracks, which is nice because that line is meant to help guide you, and if it is off even a little, it can be distracting. The 100-meter braking boards were also corrected across all tracks, so they now show the proper blue and white design again. That sounds tiny, but for racing game players, braking boards are part of the language of the track. You see them constantly, so when they are wrong, it stands out more than you would think. Las Vegas also got a small visual correction with the bollards being returned to their correct size, so that venue gets a little cleanup too. The wheel and controller fixes are probably going to be the most important part of this update for a lot of people. On Xbox, there was an issue where spring-loaded wheels could not reach full rotation in-game, and that hit specific wheels like the Thrustmaster T90, the Ferrari 458 Spider Racing wheel, and the Hori Racing Wheel Overdrive. That is the kind of bug that would make the driving feel immediately off, so it is good to see that addressed. On PS5, if you had a wheel connected, DualSense haptics could disappear, which is frustrating because that feedback is one of the nicest parts of using the controller. That has been fixed too, so the game should feel more consistent now depending on how you are playing. There is also some broader hardware support in here, especially for Asetek users. The 40 Formula steering wheel preset was updated and added to the Initium wheelbase, and the interface was updated for the Forte, Invicta, La Prima, and Tony Kanaan wheelbases, plus the Invicta pedals. On top of that, support was added for the Asetek Forte Formula Pro steering wheel. So if you are running that ecosystem, this update is doing a lot more than just basic bug squashing. It is making sure the game keeps up with newer gear and does not leave specific hardware users dealing with awkward menu behavior or missing support. There are a few nice quality of life fixes in the MISC section too. The AI control queue accessibility option now plays correctly before the player takes control, which is exactly the sort of thing accessibility options should do every single time without fail. Sponsored decals on the outer side of the halo are now symmetrical, which is one of those visual cleanup details that makes the cars look more polished when you are racing close or watching replays. Split screen also got a fix for an issue that could happen when ray reconstruction was enabled while DLSS anti-aliasing was on, so that should help local multiplayer feel a lot more stable. And then there are the general UI and stability improvements, which are not the most exciting words to read in patch notes, but they usually mean less random annoyance when you are actually trying to play. So overall, this feels like a proper cleanup update. It is not trying to reinvent anything, but it does a good job of tightening up a bunch of small problems that can add up and get irritating fast. You've got the updated Williams car, a fix for wet race ERS weirdness, track visual corrections, wheel rotation fixes, haptics restored on PS5, added hardware support, accessibility improvements, and some nice polish across the board. It is the kind of patch that probably will not make someone who does not play regularly sit up and lose their mind, but for people who are in the game a lot, these are exactly the sort of fixes that make everything feel cleaner and less messy once you get back on track.